Hi, my name is Cassandra Romas. I am a member of the Overlook Auxiliary and a past president of the Overlook Auxiliary. It is my privilege to be able to meet with some of the notables here at Overlook and to ask them their reflections on the impact that the Auxiliary has had on the hospital for these past 100 years.
It's very interesting as I look at the impact of the Auxiliary here at the hospital. First and foremost, I'm a physician, an internal medicine doc by trade. And when I practiced, I had a geriatric population. And I will say that I had the pleasure of having actually several patients that reached the 100-year milestone. And what impressed me is I would chat with them, and they had kept their marbles. And what impressed me is the wisdom that they had through their 100 years. That being said, what also impressed me was the frailty, the fragility that they had for their 100 years as well. So let's look upon the Auxiliary as sort of a living organism, and it's got 100 years of wisdom, collective wisdom that has passed along during that time. And so you look at that, and it's really remarkable when you think about that. That being said, you've had lots of new members come through the years, and so, as opposed to a single human being that becomes more frail as time goes by, you have an organization in some ways becomes younger, more vibrant, more energetic, and you can see that in the membership here. If you're looking for a smiling face, go down to the gift shop. You're going to find an Auxiliary in there, and they do a wonderful job. You look at the artwork in the hallways. It's a reminder of the tangible types of things that is provided here. And then you can look at the different services that we have, whether it's the emergency department, cancer center, women's services, you name it. They've probably done something to help finance enhancements within that service. So it's really quite remarkable what the organization has done.
Over the last 100 years, the Overlook Auxiliary has had an extraordinary impact on the patient experience, on patients here at the hospital, the visitors, our staff. They've done extraordinary outreach both inside the hospital and outside the hospital. And I had the privilege of actually looking back into the history for the hospital's 100th anniversary, and I had the opportunity to meet so many of our elder auxilians. And some of the stories that they told me were amazing. They talked about, in the early days, they were actually working with our patients, preparing bandages for patient care. They actually had a gift cart that went around to the hospital rooms. They had a gift shop. They had a coffee shop where many of the staff members and the family members just had a moment of nurturing when they could go there for a cup of soup and just have somebody share some kind words and wait on them when they were going through such a hard time. So it's been extraordinary, and of course there's the great element of fundraising, and so many of our capabilities would not be possible without the funding of the Auxiliary and the many programs that they have sponsored, the Caregiver Center, and I know Ann Oliva will probably speak of that as well. But recently we've had wonderful things that they've done for our staff. There's a cookie party every year at Christmas time that our staff really, really enjoys. And they come down and have just a moment of holiday spirit through their busy days. They provide a tea for our oncology patients several times a month, which is a wonderful element too. And of course the gift shop is my personal favorite recreation. When you're having a really stressful, busy day, it's nice to go in there and just speak to the kind volunteers and auxilians in the gift shop. Take a break from your day and buy something for yourself or buy something for someone else. And I'm very well known for going in there probably 2 or 3 times a week just to pick up a rose to cheer up somebody's day. And it's a wonderful resource to have close by the Overlook. So they are essential in providing a really amazing patient experience here at the hospital.
It's been very profound. In healthcare today, the hospitals are having an extremely hard time getting access to capital, and it's becoming harder and harder. So many of the projects that have taken place because of the dedication and hard work of the Auxiliary. We wouldn't have completed that. But more importantly, the Auxiliary has contributed to our healing culture, because many of the projects we've done, like the Caregiver Center, the pediatric playroom may not have happened at all without them. And this contributes to our healing culture. And that's what we're all about, is providing a healing environment for our patients. And that would not have happened in many cases without the auxiliary.
You can find our volunteers working diligently in the gift shop. They're willing to help you do anything you need to find anything. We also find our volunteers in patient relations.
Visiting new patients every day of the week. Messengers deliver packages, specimens, notes, whatever is needed to the floors and help the patients in that way. Flower deliveries are made. Volunteers are apparent on the floor all the time.
Not only in the hospital, but outside the hospital. We have fundraisers, and dances, and sometimes we even have wine tasting. And all the money goes back to patient care at the hospital. In the hospital, occasionally we have vendor sales, which are very popular with the employees.
And our semi-annual kitchen tour is coming up in October. Always a wonderful fundraiser. This year for the eating disorders unit, and we hope it will be very successful.
I think there's two real major initiatives that we see in terms of support from the auxiliary here at Overlook. One is certainly something that I feel personally very strongly about. It's their support of our nursing staff. We have 1,300 nurses that practice here at Overlook, and they wouldn't be able to provide the kind of care that they provide if it wasn't for the support of the auxiliary in terms of their donations, their philanthropy, and making the practice environment on the nursing units as safe and patient-centric as it is. So that's something personally I'm extremely proud of and very happy to be associated with the auxiliary. But I guess the second thing that comes to mind really is that they really interface with our patients on a daily basis. We have volunteers that are in the hospital every single day that meet and greet our patients, sit and hold their hands, and really become the voice and the face of the community when patients are hospitalized here. So I think those are the two major initiatives that touch me personally through the auxiliary.
As the executive director of the foundation, the auxiliary has been tremendously significant in creating new programs and services for our employees, for our patients, and for the community at large. And one of them that I remember from a while back is our Employee Child Care Center, which was a wonderful project for our employees. And then since then, they have contributed to our eating disorder program. They have contributed to our ovarian cancer research project. In every area of the hospital, the auxiliary improves programs and services through their wish list program and just every variety of opportunities that are presented to them, they take advantage of.
As a longtime employee of Overlook and having been involved in the foundation for many years, I remember so many of the leaders of the auxiliary. And as a former president of the auxiliary yourself, you remember the hours that you spent here as a volunteer president. And Elsa today, but I remember going back to Lee Moore and Helen Hansen and Carol Hancock and Crystal Dines and Sue Mullen and Sue Wiersba, and I'm sure I'm forgetting people, but they were just such a necessary part of our organization, and the amount and energy that they contributed here is unimaginable.
Let me just congratulate the auxiliary on 100 years and counting. That's just amazing. It's great to have a vibrant organization like the auxiliary be such an important fabric of Overlook and what we do at Overlook. So I just want to start by congratulating everybody. The auxiliary plays a vitally important part in the Overlook family, and they really have made a difference in how we can treat patients. And there are several concrete things they have done, they continue to do. They knit and crochet booties for all of our new babies that are born at Overlook, and it's a great way to come in. We provide lap blankets to all of our surgical patients, and they provide Benji puppets to all of our pediatric patients. And each of these touches those folks that come to the hospital. They also run the very best hospital auxiliary I've ever visited, and have a phenomenal florist who provides that service to all of our patients. And I got to tell you, my wife's very happy when I bring flowers home from a florist. So they really touch everybody's lives in Overlook in very concrete ways. They've also been a great part of our fundraising. And so when we've had fundraising campaigns through the years, the auxiliary's always been a group that we can count on to go out in the community, bring our message, and raise donations. And so recently they've made donations to the ovarian cancer research program, to our adolescent eating disorders program, to the Caregiver Center, and the most recent pledge is a $250,000 pledge to the Romantic Neuroscience Institute. So we've been thrilled with that sort of participation. But truthfully, the most important thing about the auxiliary is ultimately Overlook is a community asset, and they are really an important way that we connect to the community. There are many women who give up all sorts of time and energy to come in and help support our mission, which is ultimately keeping our community healthy. And they just are a phenomenal part of that, and so they touch us in many concrete ways. But the fact that they give their time up, I think, is a real inspiration to our entire staff. So I just want to congratulate the auxiliary, thank them for the incredible work they've done over now 100 years, and we're counting on you to keep doing it.